Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's C# tutorial, we are breaking down one of the most important concepts, conditional statements. Conditional statements are used when your program needs to make decisions, like choosing what to do based on different situations. In this video, you'll learn how to use if, else, else if, and even switch statements to make your application smart, responsive, and efficient. Conditional statements control the execution flow of a program based on logical conditions. This means the program chooses what to run depending on whether conditions are true or false. These statements let you execute specific blocks of code only when certain conditions are met. Only the code that matches the logic will run, everything else is skipped. The main types of conditional statements in C# are if, else if, and switch. These four are the key building blocks for writing decision-making logic in C#. Let's break them down one by one. First up, the if statement. The if statement runs a block of code only when the given condition evaluates to true. It means the program will execute something only if the logic is correct. It is used in decision-making to control which code should run based on logic. So we can control what happens based on whether a condition passes or fails. If the condition is false, the code block inside the if statement is completely ignored. That code will never run unless the condition becomes true. Now let's look at the syntax. We write if, followed by the condition inside round brackets. Then, within curly braces, we write the code that should run when the condition is true. Let's understand this using a flowchart. We start by evaluating the condition. If the condition is true, the code block is executed. If the condition is false, we skip that block and directly reach the end of the program. Now here's a simple code example, let's check. Here, we write console.writeLine, enter any number. This line prints a message to the console asking the user to enter any number. Next, we assign a int variable. Console.readLine takes the input as text and in .parse turns it into an integer. Next, we check if the number is greater than 0. If it is, then it's a positive number. And finally, if the condition is true, this line runs, and it prints out number is positive to the screen. If the number is 0 or less, nothing is printed about the number being positive because the condition is false. So the program just moves on to the next part. If we enter negative number, the program will show end program. Next, if-else statement. The if-else statement is used to handle two possible outcomes based on a condition. We check one condition. If it passes, one block runs, otherwise the second block runs. It runs the else block only when the if condition evaluates to false. So, when the first condition fails, the program falls back to the else block. This structure ensures that one of the two code blocks is always executed. It guarantees that either the if or the else code will run no matter what. Here's the syntax. We start with if, followed by the condition in brackets. If that fails, we write else, and inside its curly braces, we add the alternate code. Let's look at the flowchart. We evaluate the condition. If it's true, we go into the if block. If it's false, the program moves to the else block instead. Now check out this code example. Here's the first version of our program. We ask the user to enter a number. Then we check. If the number is greater than 0, we print number is positive. But if the number is 0 or negative, nothing happens. The program just ends silently. That's not very helpful, right? What if we also want to tell the user when the number is not positive? In that case, we need something more, and that's where the else block comes in. Now take a look at this updated code. Everything's the same, but we added an else block. So now, if the number is greater than 0, the if block runs. But if it's not, meaning the number is 0 or negative, the else block runs instead. Let's test it. I enter 5, it says number is positive. I enter -1, Now it says number is 0 or negative. Else runs when the condition is false. This helps us handle both sides of the logic, yes and no. Next, if-else-if statements. The if-else-if structure allows checking multiple conditions in sequence. It helps you go through several conditions, one after another. It is useful when you want to test another condition if the initial if condition is false. If the first test fails, you still get a chance to check more options. You can include multiple else-if blocks, followed by an optional else block for all remaining cases. This gives a clear structure for handling many possibilities, including a final fallback. Here's the syntax. We begin with the if condition. Then we can add one or more else-if conditions. Finally, we end with an optional else block. Now let's understand this through a flowchart. We evaluate the first condition. If it's true, the first block runs. If not, we check the second condition. If that's also false, the else block runs. Let's check code example. Now, let's improve our program a bit. Earlier, we just used if and else to check if the number is positive or 0 negative combined. But 0 and negative are two different cases, so it's better to handle them separately. That's why we use else if to specifically check if the number is 0. See here, first we have if number is 0. If the number is positive, this block runs and prints number is positive dot. Next, we add else if number is equal to 0, which runs only if the number is exactly 0 and prints number is 0. Finally, the else block handles all other cases, meaning if the number is neither positive nor 0, it must be negative, so it prints number is negative. This way, our program becomes clearer and more accurate by handling each condition separately. Let's try running the program. If you enter 0, the output will be number is 0. And if you enter -1, the output will be number is negative. Simple and effective. That's how you use if, else if, and else in CSharp. Now let's understand the switch statement in CSharp. The switch statement compares one value against multiple possible predefined cases. You check a single value and match it against several known options. It executes the code block that matches the corresponding case value. Only the matching case runs. All other cases are ignored. If no case matches, the default block is executed to handle all unmatched values. The default is like a backup. It catches everything that doesn't fit the listed cases. Let's go over the syntax. We write switch, followed by the expression in brackets. Inside the block, we add multiple case labels. Each case ends with a break. At the end, we can include a default block for unmatched cases. Let's understand this flow using a diagram. We evaluate the value. If it matches case A, we run that block. If it matches case B, we run the second block. If it doesn't match any, we execute the default block. Now look at the code example. Here, we are creating a variable named grade. The data type is char, which means it will store a single character. Now, we are using a switch statement. A switch statement lets us check the value of a variable and run different code depending on what the value is. This opening curly brace means the start of the switch block. Case A. This line checks, is the value of grade equal to A? If it is, we will run the code inside this case. If the grade is A, we print the word excellent to the screen. Break. This break statement tells the program to stop checking other cases. Case B. This is the next case. It checks, is grade equal to B? Since our grade is B, this line will run and it will print good to the screen. Again, we use a break to exit the switch. We don't want to run any other cases after this. This is the default case. It runs if none of the other cases match the value of grade. If the grade was not A or B, we would see this message, needs improvement. We still use a break here to finish the switch block. If it's A, it prints excellent. If it's anything else, it prints needs improvement. And that's it. This code checks the grade and prints a message depending on whether it's A, B, or something else. Thank you for watching today's tutorial. If it was helpful, please like and subscribe for more C# content.